Hey everyone, welcome to Your First Digital Product, a show that helps maxed out service providers create their first digital product so they can gain an additional income stream, grow their impact without increasing one-on-one work, and experience more time freedom. On the show, I talk to business owners who have launched digital products and dig deep into how you can create, launch, and market your first digital product. I'm your host, Renee Morozowicz. Let's go. Hey everybody, today I am here with Kyle, and after spending 15 years as a graphic designer and earning a business degree, Kyle launched OGAL Web Design in 2017 and the admin bar community with Matt Sebert in 2018. Hey Kyle, how are you?
Fantastic.
We're here today to talk about your first digital product and then maybe your subsequent digital products and maybe plans you have for the future, but tell us about the first digital product that you created.
Yeah. So the first one I created with my partner in the admin bar, Matt. It's called the Website Owner's Manual. So the genesis story of it essentially is we're website designers. We sell WordPress websites. WordPress websites need a lot of babying and care and aftercare and things like that. Clients don't necessarily always understand what all goes into that. Sometimes it can be an awkward conversation because you sell them a multiple $1,000 website, and then you say, "Oh, by the way, you now have to continue paying me forever, or the whole thing will
Mm-hmm.
blow up." So it
Yes.
can feel kind of gross sometimes. So we were really looking at some ways that we could make that sales process a little bit easier, help educate clients on what goes into to maintaining and keeping your website healthy. So that's when we kind of came up with this idea for this product. So we created some rough drafts of it and tested on our own clients and things like that. And we realized really quickly that, hey, this really works. And everybody's buying a care plan now when I show them this. So that's when we ended up taking it to the community and kind of refining it and putting it on sale. Actually, I don't know how deep you want me to get into this, but when we first launched it, we just launched it as a free lead magnet and we had it on our
Oh.
website just to download, like give us your email
Mhm.
and you can have this thing. I think we got like it was under 100 downloads, and this was
Okay.
over, like, an 8-month period, like, nobody seemed to care at all, and then
Mhm.
we turned around and put a price tag on it and started selling it, and now we've sold over 3,000 of them, so that's pretty
Wow!
interesting.
That's amazing. So what changed then there? Like, once you put a price tag on it, then people were like, "Oh, I want it," or
I
what happened?
honestly, that's the only real difference. Like, we did, package it up a little bit nicer, and it
Okay.
was more of, like, once there was something for sale, there had to be, like, a sales page, and there had to be,
Mhm.
like, a sales process and all that, so I think that
Mhm.
increases the perceptive value of it some. But I do think, when you give something when you say something's $0, people value it at $0. And when you
Mhm.
say it's $15, they assign $15 to it. So I think just by the
Mhm.
fact that we were giving it away for free, people probably assumed it wasn't that useful or we
Mhm.
wouldn't be giving it away for free. So that was a huge lesson, right up front.
Interesting. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. That's amazing. And then so tell us about the deliverable itself. I mean, I own it, but, tell the audience, what do people get when they buy it?
Yeah, so it's kind of a weird cross between a digital product and kind of more like a strategy. So
Mhm.
you get a digital product that's like it's an editable document that you save as a PDF, and it goes over all the details of where the website's hosted, where you can find the login information, all the things that a year from now they're going to have no idea, even
Mhm.
if you told them. So let's say they move on to another web developer, or you move on and you're no longer servicing them. They go to somebody else, and this happens to us in the web design business all the time. Is people come to us and they don't know anything about their website. So
Yes.
this document gives you an ability to fill out all this information about their website and hand it over to them so they can keep that for safekeeping and they'll always have that on record. Um, but part of the strategy process that goes in with it is there's some videos and stuff that are included that we kind of explain how we would recommend using it.
Mhm.
But also within the document is um, kind of where the sales start. So in there, we list out all the maintenance tasks that need to be done. So those things that need to be done kind of monitored 24/7, things that need to be done weekly, monthly, annually. And then we have a section in there where they actually need to go through. We ask our clients to go through and assign who is responsible for each one of these
Mhm. Mhm.
tasks. And I think that's the realization point for clients when they go, oh, well, I don't wanna put my name in all these fields because I don't know how to
Yes.
do all these things, right? So
Yes.
that's when it hits them like, "Okay, these things have to be done, and I don't wanna put my name, and there's nobody else here that knows this, so I guess we do need to hire somebody professional for it." And
Mm.
obviously, that's the realization we want them to come to. some people can handle it on their own, and that's fine too. But most of the non-technical business owner clients, they just don't really even have the desire to get in there and learn how to do that. So
Yes, for sure.
the product itself is that manual that you can reuse for all your projects, and then some training videos and stuff like that.
I love that it's something that you used for your clients, so something that you developed for yourself, excuse me, and then you sold it to your peers. So, you
Right.
knew that this was a problem point, like, this is something that you experienced, like, "Oh, I sold them a website, but they don't wanna buy a care plan," and then, what happens ongoing, and maybe knew that other people would have that same problem, which we do.
Right. Yes,
Yeah, very cool.
it's been as many people as I can get it in front of seem to like it and seem to use it and seem to rave about it. So it's been, really great, but that's a huge point. Like I didn't go out and create a product for some people I didn't know or for an audience I
Mhm.
was trying to get into. It was like, "Hey, this works in my business. There's a lot of people that do what I do. Maybe this would help them too." And I think that's something that everybody might not think of, right? Like
Mhm.
whatever you do for a living, there's probably other people that do the same thing. And you've
Right.
probably come up with systems and processes and ideas
Yes.
and documents and all kinds of things that help move your business forward. Well, there's always somebody new coming into the industry. There's always somebody that's always done it one way and don't know these things.
Mhm.
So I think your peers is a really awesome market to go to. It for an example for this product, it helped me in my business. I've sold thousands and thousands of dollars worth of care plans by using it, and then I've also sold thousands and $1,000 worth of this product. So
Yes.
it's a win-win.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think that's I think sometimes when people think like I'm going to create a product, they're already if they're a service business, they're already selling to one group of people. And, you can definitely do an add-on or if you have systems and processes like you mentioned that, maybe you can offload to the client as like a DIY. So for example, content, if you're, web designer developer, you can maybe sell a course or something that your client can do their own website content so you can sell to your existing clients or selling to your peers, I think is another valuable, avenue, especially when you're well connected. So you're well connected, right? You go to WordCamps, meetups, I'm sure, like you have the admin bar. So you have a community of people around you. You're not really doing this in a vacuum. So I think
Yeah,
that,
and
the
that's something
audience
that's
is
just so
helpful.
great about WordPress too, is we
Yes.
just
Yeah.
have this huge community of people that
Mhm.
all essentially are competitors with each other, but
Mhm.
none of us treat each other like competitors. So it's a very collaborative environment. So that's definitely a huge benefit to what I'm doing as well.
I think that there's so many bad websites out there that there's, like, more than enough. Like, really, how many do you need to do a year? Like, how many do I need to do a year, to make, my life, good and, peaceful and happy and, where I can pay the bills and do the things that I wanna do. Like, I don't need more than that. Like, there's plenty to go around, right,
Absolutely.
is kind of what I'm thinking about that. So you've had so anything else you wanna say about the website owners? What about a little bit more maybe about the marketing? Like, I noticed you had a coupon up, I think, because you won an award. Like, so tell me a little bit about maybe how you've continued to market because that's a thing I think that people getting into their first product, like, okay, you build the product, you create the product, have the time to build it, you launch it, and then you have to keep marketing it.
Yes,
So,
and that is really difficult. So I think back to when we first actually made it for sale with a price, and I did a big post in our community, whatever, sent out an email. I don't remember exactly, uh, but we were just this was our first product to sell like this. We were just so like flabbergasted that our phones were just constantly going off with notifications of new sales. I think at the
okay.
time we were selling it for $15 or
Uh-huh.
$12 or something like that. It wasn't a lot of money,
Mhm.
but it felt like we hit the lottery, right? And I think
Yes.
that first, like, week or 2, we ended up selling, like, 1,000 copies of it,
That's
or
awesome.
close to it in the first week. And so if you look at the graph, the sales graph, it was this huge spike in the beginning,
Mhm.
and then it went down pretty quickly because we had got it in front of everybody that was in our audience,
Mhm.
and then it's just been, kinda a little bit more slow going, in ongoing with, pickups for when I'll go on a podcast or something and talk about
Mhm.
it, and then we see a little spike or whatever, Black Friday and things like that. But yeah, so I'm not a great salesperson. I don't really like being salesy, so I like to make everybody aware of it. It's
Mhm.
featured on our website and things like that. I have put it inside of like our email template. So when we send out emails, there's always a call to action in there about the
Mhm.
website owner's manual. It's the most successful thing we've done. So, and I think it's the most helpful for people as well. So it's always in there. When people join our community, we ask them if they want to join on our mailing list. When they do that, there's a sequence they go through, and when they get through there, if they haven't been tagged as owning that product, then we send them an email about that product. So pretty much everything we're doing right now with it is fairly passive, other than people ask me to come on podcasts and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'll come talk about it. And then once it gets to like Black Friday and like
Mhm.
natural sales things, we'll do a little bit more on it. But at this point, it sells, I don't know, probably on average about 3 copies a day, and I don't
That's
really spend any
exciting.
time doing anything with it, which is pretty awesome. But you mentioned the coupon code.
Mhm.
Again, I'm not like the world's best salesman, so don't take everything I say as like the honest truth. This is just my experience. If we put a price of $15 on it with no coupon, or we did a $30 price with a 50% coupon, so it's the same price,
Mhm.
we would sell 10 times as many with the coupon than the other way
Interesting.
around. It's
Interesting.
always been that way. So there's
Mhm.
basically, pulling back the curtain, there's always a coupon.
Mhm.
Right now there's one because we just won an award, like you said, so that was the reason to put a different coupon out there. There's a lot of people coming into our ecosystem because of that award. So I wanted them to have an opportunity to get in at a good rate. Um, but even I've had it on when we don't have some kind of promotion going or something like that. It's just on the sales page. It says, "Hey, join our email list, and we'll send you a 25% coupon."
Oh,
And that
yes.
there is very few
Mhm.
people that don't use a coupon. So
Mhm.
if they go to the sales page, they might as well sign up and get the 25% off if they're going to buy anyways. And then that gets them into our email system and all
Yes.
that as well.
Which is super valuable, I would think, like, that's, like, very valuable that, I'm a big proponent of the email list and building the email list, and, that's a great way to do it too. It's like, then you get all the things and everybody else gets it, like, everybody wins in all the
Exactly.
ways. So they get your emails, you have good emails once a week, Fridays, like them. It's good stuff. You're doing good work.
Well, thank you.
So tell us about some other products. You have the Easy Peasy Proposal, Prospect Pipeline Challenge, User Profiles Worksheet, and the Agency Airtable Pack. So tell us about some of those things. How did those come to be? How do those sell? How do you feel about those? How do people feel about them?
Yeah. So it's basically same story again is I needed to create a solution to solve a problem in my own agency. I figured out something that worked for me, and I thought, I wonder if this would work for other people, and kind of put it out there. So the proposal thing, everybody hates writing proposals. I've not met
Mhm.
one person yet that just like, I'm
Like,
so excited, I got to write a proposal
yes.
today. Like everybody
Right.
hates it. I really hate it. I will put it off and put it off and put it off, and I'm like, all I have to do is just write something down. These people are going to give me money, and I still don't
Mhm.
want to do it. So what I had to do for myself was come up with like a really simple fill in the blank type proposal. That
Oh,
way I knew like I could get in here and I can write the proposal in 10 minutes. So there's no excuse. Like it's not going to take a lot of brain power. There's already a structure. I just have to answer these questions about this project. I know the answers to them. Um, and once I started doing that, it started getting easier. I'm not going to say I
mhm,
enjoy it now. That would be a
mhm.
total lie. I don't enjoy it still, but I can knock it out in 10 minutes. So it's not something I put off as long. So I'm not,
Mhm,
before I was spending an hour, 2 hours on a proposal and staring at mostly a blank screen and a blinking cursor. And now it kind of walks me step by step through the process. So once I got that working for me, I know that's a problem a lot of people in our community have as well.
mhm,
So I put that out there for sale. I don't think it's $20 or something like that. It's
mhm.
not. None of the products we sell are super expensive. But again, it comes with the document. It comes with like a completed example, because I think that's a roadblock too. Is
Yes.
like you're
Mhm,
still having to fill in the blank, right?
mhm,
So I've shown, here's a completed example for a project that I sold for this amount of money, and I share that in there so they can see how much effort I put into that proposal to sell
mhm,
it for X amount of dollars. Um, and then some videos around that or whatever. So I that's done fairly well. Nothing near the WOM. I don't even have numbers on what it does, but we sell a couple of them a week. So
mhm.
it still brings in fairly
Yeah.
passive income. And again, I'm
Mhm,
not doing a whole lot to promote it other than it being on our website, and maybe in some email sequences or
mhm.
things like that. Um, so let's see the prospect pipeline challenge. This one is the one I'm probably most proud of and put the most time and energy into, and it's probably the one that sold the least amount of copies
Hmm.
because it's a lot of work.
Okay.
So
Well,
the idea being, yeah, yeah,
people
the
like a
idea
quick
being
win.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
People like a fill in the blank template, right?
Mhm.
Not you need to do exercises for the next 3 weeks.
Mhm.
I work solo, so I'll get real busy with projects and then I ignore my pipeline. And then I finish up those projects and I'm like, where did that pipeline go? I have
Yeah.
nothing to do now, right? And so
Yes.
then I panic and I take on bad projects or I
Mhm.
bid something way too low because I just need money coming in. And what I've realized is you just have to constantly nurture the pipeline. Like it's even if you're busy, you still got to be working on it.
Mhm.
So I'm a very competitive person. If there's a way to win something, I want to win it, right? It doesn't
Mhm.
matter what it is. I've told this story before, but there's like we live in a little pre-planned neighborhood. There's like 4 or 5 different ways out. I've drove all the different ways and timed them multiple times so I can figure out what is statistically the quickest way to get out of this neighborhood. It's
Mhm.
just the way I work, right? So what I did to solve this challenge was I needed to gamify it in some way. Like, what could I do to make staying on top of this proposal something that kept me interested? So I actually read this in a book. It's called "How to Become a Rainmaker." I'll have to look up the
Ooh,
author, but
okay.
it's a
Now we're gonna
really
talk.
it's a little sales book, and it's got really short lessons in it. And this is something he explained in there, and it's basically a gamification system where uh, each day you get so many points for different activities, right?
Mhm.
So those activities could be you get a new contact, you schedule a meeting with the client, um, you uh, you send out a proposal or you get a signed contract or whatever. So there's different point values for each one of these different
Mhm.
activities. Each week you need to amass this amount of points in order to keep your pipeline healthy. So for me, what it's done is just gamify that process. Is I can look and say, oh God, Monday and Tuesday, I got nothing. Like I got 0 points on any of this. I'm gonna have to spend some more time on this later in the week. And it's helped keep me accountable. So what I did with this product was essentially build out that scorecard, the system for it, and assigned point values to everything. Um, but that alone, I didn't think was enough. I think the biggest part of this is you really need to get in the habit of doing this constantly.
Mhm.
So the challenge is like a 3 week challenge where I send it's all off automation, but I send an email every day with some kind of task you can do or a new idea on how to reach out to somebody or so it all follows like everything you would do through the life cycle of a prospect being in your pipeline. So
Mhm.
every day I'm sending you some kind of challenge you can do or some kind of activity you can do to help you earn those points, asking you what your point total is at the end of each week so
Mhm.
people can reply to those emails and I can encourage them or give them a swift kick if that's what they need as well.
Yeah.
So once they get through that 3 weeks, they'll have completed the challenge. They'll have hopefully started to build some of those habits that just take a long time to form. So that's really that's probably my favorite thing I've made. It's just
Mhm.
not been the most successful thing, and I think that is just because now you're gonna have to work for 3
Well,
weeks.
work but have you done it in, like, a group cohort at all? Like, like, in the admin bar I'm not a big Facebook person, so I'm not in the group very much, but,
I understand.
like, "Hey, we're gonna do, starting January 1st for the next 3 weeks, like, post your points daily, post your weekly total," something like that, like, that might I wonder if, like, the points alone, you know, m maybe they need to compete against others too.
Right. That's a great question. I haven't done that inside the community. I have some, like, private mastermind groups where there's only, like,
Mhm.
8 people per group, and we have gone through that together,
Oh, cool.
with them in those, and I think it's been more successful. People hang on more. I can go through the analytics of that, the 3-week long email sequence, and I can just watch the open rate
Yes.
drop and drop and
Oh,
drop.
yes.
So the
Mhm.
the first few days, people
Mhm.
are really into it, and then you can kinda see where they start waning. So I do think just some more accountability on that could definitely be
Mhm.
helpful for folks.
Yeah. Yeah, just wondering if that's, just a thought, but,
Yeah,
yes, I mean, it
that's a good
sounds
one.
cool, and I think, like, the challenges are nice just to do, like, every once in a while. Like, I mean, I know they build good habits, but, like, I think that, I did a proposal challenge, I think it was in 2021, the first 3 months, and I tried to get to, like, X number of dollars just in proposals, and then, yeah, kept track along the way, and I had you're just in that mindset, I think you're not sending proposals out willy-nilly, but you're letting potential clients know everything you offer. Like,
Right.
because before I'm like, "Oh, well, they're not going to want that, so I'm not going to tell them that I offer that." But, like, when you're in a challenge, you're like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna tell them all these things, so they'll get more credit for it."
Yeah,
So,
and
it's
I
a
mean, it's the same
mindset
thing,
thing.
like, if somebody talks to you about yellow cars, chances are next
Yes.
time you go out and drive, you're going to see a yellow car somewhere and be like, yeah,
Yes.
it's so funny. I'm seeing all these yellow cars now. It's just those things you can kind of like not necessarily manifest them, but you become more aware of them, right? So with
Right.
this challenge, when you're always thinking about these are the things I need to do to get points, what I've noticed is I start finding a lot more opportunities to connect with people I maybe wouldn't have connected with or
Hmm.
to push them along in the sales process and stuff because it's just top of mind. So I think it's really, really helpful. It's helped me a ton. I've kind of I've still waned, I'm like everybody else, like I'll get off track a little bit and get back on it, so I've kind of forced myself to get back on that as well. I've set up some additional systems for mine, so I'm a huge Airtable person, which we can talk about that.
Yes.
But I've set up a bunch of stuff in Airtable, so it automatically tracks a bunch of things for
Hmm.
me, and it sends me reports on how I'm doing every week, so I get reminded of it pretty regularly.
That's awesome. Even maybe like a hashtag for it. Like I did tweet 100 maybe earlier this year, and you had to use the hashtag and you're posting every day. And then it
Right.
calculated the things in the background, like here are my points for the day, or here's the thing, to kind of like, have that accountability somewhere. And then people are seeing that, right? They're seeing my tweet, they're seeing, the post or whatever. And they're like, oh, well, what is that? What is she doing? And then it's kind of like it's
Yeah.
spreading the word too.
It's a great
So
I'm gonna
it's
hire you
yeah.
to help me
Yeah.
market this, so we need
I
to
like
talk
ideas.
talk when we're done.
Let's let's talk about ideas. I have all the ideas. All right. So, then you have the user profiles worksheet, which I feel like everybody needs a worksheet, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's a really, really simple one. I don't get super deep into the weeds with my clients' marketing. Like I build websites and I have some background in marketing, but that's not my main focus. But it is important for clients to kind of know who their audience is and who they're selling
Mhm.
things to. And I find a lot of times clients have a lot of problems with that, especially when it gets to like, we need to write content for your website and they're kind of just writing into an abyss.
Mhm.
So what I came up with was a simple worksheet for my clients that helps them target a few people who are good customers of theirs so they can kind of identify who these
Ooh.
people are. Like, it's this avatar, it's a woman. She does this for a living. Her income is this, whatever. Right.
Mhm.
So they fill those things in. And the little worksheet just helps them answer some questions about those people. It's really intuitive. I, I feel like some of those client avatar systems are really frou-frou, and it's like, I don't know if
Yeah.
I buy all this.
Yeah.
This one's very straightforward, in that sense. It's only a couple pages long. It's something you can do with a client in 15 or 20 minutes.
That's
I'm not
nice.
saying you would perfectly know everything about their business when you're done, but you're gonna know a whole lot more than if they can't answer
Mhm.
anything. So,
Mhm.
again, that product's I think it's a few dollars. It's not much at all. It's done fairly well too, and I know quite a few people have said they've kind of built that into their systems for especially like this wouldn't be good for a big, Fortune 500 company, but for a mom and pop business that's really not hip to all these marketing things, I think it could be
Mhm.
really helpful there.
Yeah, and if you're starting from I sell to everyone, who's your
Mm,
ideal client? Everyone, like that's not a good place to start. It just takes you, maybe to the next step or the next step. Yeah, not like you're identifying every single thing about them, but it sounds like it brings them, closer,
right.
within reason, and like a nice 15-30 minute worksheet, like, meeting like that seems much more doable. Like I've gone through some of these things where it's the whole thing seems so daunting. Like,
Mhm.
then you just don't wanna do it at all. So, having
Right.
something that's approachable that kind of, brings you a step closer, I feel like is really valuable. I think to people with the digital products, I don't know if they have something to prove to someone, themselves or whatever, but, like, they're like, "I have to make the biggest thing ever in the world," and you're like, "No, no, you don't have to do that." Like, how
No,
about
how
don't
how
do
can we
that?
make it as simple as
Yes.
possible? Like, none of us
Yes.
have time for
Yes.
all that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing, like, you don't have time to do it, and people don't have time to consume it. Like, maybe you can get somebody to buy it because, yeah, it's giving you all the promises in the world, but people don't have time to consume it, and then what good is that? They're not going to say to their friend, "Hey, I bought this really great course," because they didn't do it. So they're
Right.
not even gonna mention it. So then you don't get the word of mouth, and you don't get the win, they don't get the win, like, nobody wins with those things. So I think the smaller products where you can actually people can actually use them and work through them and do them, like, is a good way to, move people forward. So how do you determine the pricing on these just
Thin air. I pull
yeah.
it out of thin air. Yeah,
Nice.
I don't
How
know.
about
I try to think about what I would pay for that. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I don't do this. I don't sell products inside the admin bar to make a living
Mhm.
necessarily, right? Like
Right.
I'm not paying my bills off of this. It is nice to have a little bit of another income stream. So for sure that's important. I do spend a lot of time on these things and support and all that, so
Mhm.
it's good to get paid for your time. But I try to make it all reasonable. We also have a really global audience, so that's something to keep in mind too. Is
Mhm.
not everybody's in the United States with the economy that the United States has. Uh, Doing parity pricing is really probably difficult and more than I would probably do for this. So I try to price it in a way that makes it a little bit more equitable for everybody. Honestly, with all of these things that we've created, it's just like, if this would be helpful, I want it to be in everybody's hands, right? So I
Mhm.
don't need to charge, thousands of dollars for it. The pipeline challenge is the most expensive one. I think it's like $70. Um, and a lot of that pricing, I did some comparisons and testing with some people. I felt like if that pricing was too low, nobody would feel like they were invested in it. So
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
is something that's gonna take 3 weeks to go through, and you're gonna have to be, diligent about doing this. And if you invested $10, it's real easy to say, it was only 10 bucks. I'm just not even
Mhm.
gonna fool with this anymore." But if you spent $70, well, now you kinda feel like you need to see it through. So part of
Mhm.
that pricing in there was just the buy-in that people need to make if they're gonna do this, right?
Mhm.
Not because I need to take more money from them, but they need to be this level of invested in this before they do it
Yes.
or don't do it. Like
Mhm.
if you can't invest $70, then you're probably not gonna invest all the time this is gonna take
Mhm.
anyways, so just don't buy this.
Yes. Yeah, that perfect sense. Yeah, and I think people don't think about those things. They, just there's more to it than that, and I do think the value and maybe some testing too, like, if you put it up for $10 and well, like you said, like, you put it up for free and, not a lot of people got it, but you put a price tag on it and then people see it's valuable, so I think
Yeah.
that's important, like, that's good. So and you have the agency Airtable pack, and you love Airtable, so tell me all
I
about it.
do. I'm such an Airtable nerd. If you don't know anything about Airtable, it's a database. It's kinda like people will say, like Excel on steroids, but it's
Mhm,
a lot different than Excel. It does look kind of like Excel might look, the table format, but it's actually a database structure with, like, relational data and stuff like that. I'm a total nerd for it. I have, like, 100 Airtable bases in my account, and I live in it all day. Um, I think it's one of those things that works really well for people that clicks with their brain, and for other people, they
mhm,
don't like it at all. But it does take a lot of setup and a lot of getting
mhm,
used to. So if you're used to project management tools like ClickUp, let's say, one that a lot of people know, they've built everything already in to be a project management system, and you need to kind of conform your systems and processes to fit within ClickUp.
mhm,
Airtable works differently. It's not a project management tool. It's a database tool, and you can make it what you want, right? So you can build out a project management system using it exactly to your specifications. So in one way, that's great because you can make it exactly what you need. But in the other sense, it's not already done for you. You're going to
mhm,
have to
you have to
figure
build
all
it.
this out. You're going to have to map out how all the data is going to work and
Mhm,
reminders and all these kinds of things you would never have to think about in like a pre-made system. So uh, because of that, I've built tons of different bases for tons of different use cases and shared them with people. It's a lot to explain, and even if I sat here and explained every step you needed to take to do it, it's going to take you a couple days to build it all out and make
mhm,
it work. So I'm like, well, here's about 6 bases that I think everybody could use that does the work I do if they're into Airtable. So I just package
mhm.
those up into a little bundle and sell those with some training videos on how to use every one of them, and that's done fairly well for you know, I've segmented the market, right? So first, the only people I
Yeah.
talk to are web developers, and now I'm only talking to web developers who also use Airtable.
Yes,
So
yeah.
there's a much smaller pool for that one.
Mhm,
But I know a lot of people use that one. That one I get the most support requests and stuff on, not because there's
okay.
problems, but because people want to modify it and change it, which is a
Mhm,
huge benefit of Airtable, and they're unsure how to do that. So I spend a lot of time on that one, kind of helping people through how to
mhm,
modify some of those bases to fit their needs.
mhm.
But I just love that product so much. I was really happy to have some kind of product to sell with
Yeah.
Airtable, which is fun.
Yeah, so how does that work with the support? Like, on any of these products, if people email you with questions, like, I'm sure maybe you would answer a question or 2, but, like, what if it gets to be too much? Like, if you have a product where, like, okay, you have well exceeded,
Mhm.
what I'm the profit on this product. So how do you handle that if that comes
I
up.
should probably have a really good policy on that, but I don't. So I would say 99.9% of people are just great and
Mhm.
nice, and they have a
Yes.
question, and I answer the question, and they thank me, and
Mhm.
they're grateful that I took the time to answer the question. That's 99.9% of people. 0.1% of people are just real jerks.
Mhm.
If it does get to the point where I just feel like they're wearing me out on what I could possibly do as far as support on this product. There's terms and stuff on the website, but I'm fairly lenient on that. I'll just let them know, hey, I can't do any more to support on this. If you'd like to set up some kind of coaching session, here's a
Mhm.
paid package I offer.
Oh,
It's
awesome.
very expensive and nobody
Mhm.
ever buys it. And that's
Yeah.
kind of the
Well,
point of it.
yeah.
But it gives them the signal like, okay, this free support time is over on this
Mhm.
product. Um, but it's really not been too much of a problem. I think every product needs to have some kind of refund policy. Ours does as well. I'm very
Mhm.
lenient with it. If somebody's not happy with something, it's not really worth the fight to
Yes. Yeah.
keep my $15 or whatever.
Mhm. Right.
I'm happy to just refund them, even though it's digital and it's not like they can give it back. They're probably still
Mhm.
using it. It's a small percentage of people
Mhm.
that I think would do that unethically. As fact is like, I'm going to buy this, then I'm going to refund it, and I'm going to
Refund.
keep
Yeah.
using it.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
so few people that I just try to not let that bother me.
Mhm.
That if they ask for a refund, I'll just give it to them,
Mhm.
and that keeps everybody happy, and it's
Yeah.
easier on me.
And your peace of mind, exactly. Like, you don't wanna, like, labor over this sort of thing, yeah, again, for, like, $15. Like, it's taking up mental space.
Right.
Yeah,
It's just a
yeah,
whole lot easier to hit refund and move on. And we've
yes.
had some of those people that come back and they'll come back and not talk nicely about the products would be the
Yes.
the nice way to say it.
Yeah, mhm.
That in
That's
the
tough.
beginning really bothered me because 'cause I'm like, "It's not like I ripped you off for hundreds of dollars, right? It was
Yeah,
15
mhm,
bucks or whatever, like, you don't have to be a jerk." So
mhm,
now I've just wrote, email scripts for those scenarios,
mhm,
just thanking them for their feedback and letting them know I've processed a refund and it'll
mhm,
take, 3 days to show back up in their account or whatever,
mhm.
and I've just kind of put that all off on automations and email scripts to
Yes,
take care of that for me so I
that's
don't have
nice.
to be so bothered by it. Cause it
Mhm.
it hurts your feelings at
It
some point,
does,
like, "Man, I
it
was
does.
just trying to help," so
Yeah, and 10 people could say it's the most amazing product ever, and that one person who says that it sucks, you're like, oh,
no,
like,
I
you
think
take
that
that so
ratio is
much
1,000
well
to 1. Yeah, for sure.
it's hard, like, yeah, you take it really personally, and you're like, "Well, ugh," yeah, so it's good, I like that idea with the email scripts, and the automation and, just kind of letting it go don't even let it in, really, you just kinda just let it go, like, "There it
Yeah.
goes." Um,
Every time you have to write those replies, you
yeah.
have to, like, relive the entire thing every
Yes,
time,
mhm,
right? So when it's just an email
mhm,
script, you're bothered by the email that comes in, but you just select the script, hit send,
yeah,
and then you can kinda move on. You don't have to
mhm.
rehash all that every time,
Well,
which is helpful.
yes, and especially then when you know that the conversation is basically over at that point, like,
Right.
it's just,
Yeah.
there's no more to it. Have you thought about doing any kind of, like, I don't wanna say, like, a webinar, I don't love the term webinar, but, like, you know, some do you have some videos, some YouTubes or things like that about, like, these products? Like, "Hey, today we're gonna walk through, like, Airtable," to have, like, these things sold at the end? Like, do you do that kinda stuff,
Yeah.
or it's mostly
I
just there?
I'm just a terrible salesperson is what it is. Like, if you want it, take it. If not, that's
Yeah,
cool
mhm,
too.
yeah,
So the Airtable bases, I actually recorded walkthrough videos for each base to
nice.
explain how everything's set up, how data's connected, where you need to input stuff. If you want to change something, here's where you do it. So there was like tutorial videos for each one of these bases. And it basically explains everything you need to do to build this and how everything works. I ended up just putting all those videos on the sales page for the product. So
Oh,
somebody
nice.
could go there and just watch the videos and
Mhm,
sit there and press
and just
pause and build
rebuild
it all
them?
out.
Yeah,
Totally
that's
fine. They
well,
could,
yeah.
and if you're listening and you don't want to spend the whatever dollars it is on it,
Yeah,
you can definitely go do that. That's fine. But I think the benefit there is, you save the time of not having to do all that. So those videos are all available. Same thing with the website owner's manual. We've basically, if you went out there and searched for everything, we've given the whole thing away
mhm.
in pieces here and
You could
there.
put it
It's all
together,
out
yeah.
there. Yeah, you
Mhm,
could put it all together. So yeah, I don't know. None of these products feel like webinar sales
mhm,
funnel
okay,
type strategy
mhm,
ready. They're all very
yeah,
low ticket type things. So maybe that's just an excuse I'm making,
mhm.
so I don't have to do it.
Well,
But no, I
yeah, I
haven't
mean, if
done
you
all
don't
that.
wanna do it, yeah, why would you do it? Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So do you have plans for some future digital products, or are these things, because they've come up, of things that you've created, like, do you think that that's just how you'll continue is like, if you have another problem and you create another solution, then you'll offer it out there?
Yeah, so when after the WOM had the website owner's manual had its initial success, I'm like, okay, well, this is great because I don't know if you've never sold a digital product before. I mean, even the difference. I'm a service based business, right?
Mhm,
Running an agency, so uh, this seems really simple, but sometimes it's worth talking about. Somebody pays me money, and then I have to go do a bunch of work, right?
mhm,
And when you sell a product, you do a bunch of work, and then people come pay you money and take the product, right?
mhm,
And then with physical things, you run out of inventory, and you have to go back to work and make more products so that you can sell it. And digital's pretty insane. The fact that you made it one time and then it just sells infinitely. It's like just auto regenerates, which is
mhm.
amazing. So when we had that initial success with the website owners manual, I'm like, well, this is the ticket. I just got to make a bunch of these things and I can retire. I won't have to work
Yeah.
at all anymore. So I kind of got in the mindset of like, okay, I got to force myself to come up with some products. And what I came up with was not real great when I did it
Mhm,
that way. It felt forced. It felt like I was trying to sell something. It didn't feel genuine to me.
mhm,
So I've kind of stopped going after that. I had a goal this year to create 2 new products. I did not meet that goal, but I'm also not stressing out about it. I think
mhm,
when I make something, I'll know that like, hey,
mhm,
this would be a great thing to share with people, and it would make for a good product. And if that happens, I'm totally open to that. And my uh, my mind's open to those opportunities. I'm
mhm.
looking for them, but I'm not out there with some kind of deadline of I got to make something up to start
Yes.
selling right now. It just
Mhm.
doesn't work with my way of working. So
Right. Yeah, and especially make something, like, something is not easy to quantify or qualify, right? Like, what is
right.
something, like, thinking of the idea. Has your audience asked for anything? Like, is there anything out there that people are like or that you see, like, people are always asking about this thing? Like, I bet I could come up with something.
Yeah,
Like, you have a lot
so
of data at your fingertips, I feel
I
like there
do,
might be
I
some data
do.
out there.
You know what? If I was a better business person, I'd probably parse all that out a little bit better, but I have not. Um, there are some things people have asked for, and I'll sit and think about it and just say, we had something come up this week that the Airtable thing. Somebody asked,
Mhm.
could you make an adaptation of this, but instead of using Airtable, use Notion, which
Use
has some
Notion.
similar things in there.
Mhm.
I thought about it for a second. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
No, yeah.
I could do it, but I don't know Notion really well.
Yeah.
I can't handle the support on
Mhm.
all that. Like,
Mhm.
if you already know Notion, buy this and make your copy in Notion.
Mhm.
But I couldn't do that. So I'm fairly picky about some of those things. Like, it needs to be something I'm interested in and
Mhm.
feel like I could do a good job with because I don't want to just sell something to sell it. I mean, part of this is the community that I have that would be the potential buyers for all this. These are the people I hang out with every day, right? So
Mhm.
if I sell them something crappy, they're going to let me know
Yes.
about it and I'm going to
Yes.
see them every day. So
Right.
I try to be really careful about what that is. Uh, I do think, I've never come into the situation of like, I'm the authority and
Mhm.
I'm the teacher and you're the student or anything. We're kind of all in the trenches together figuring things
Yes, yeah.
out. So I think there's some problems that come up a lot that other people have come up with great solutions and I love to share those and talk about
Mhm.
those and I use those myself. So there's no reason for me to reinvent the wheel on that.
Mhm.
Um, and like I said, when I find when something clicks for me and I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally figured this out, then I'm definitely open to those opportunities. But I'm not actively trying to come up with ideas
Mhm.
for that purpose necessarily.
Yeah, and I think it's a good idea not to force yourself into something, like, because, your heart wouldn't be in it probably, and, I think people can see that on the other end, so, I
Yeah,
think
and
that's
like
a
I
good
said,
strategy.
I'm in a fortunate position that it's not like I have to live off this.
Yeah.
It's a secondary income stream,
Mhm.
which is great. I like it. It's very nice to have. I would
Yeah.
recommend it for everyone.
Yes.
But I'm
Yes.
not living off of it for
Yeah.
sure.
And those sales, I bet, feel really good. I thought what you were going to say is, when you, charge somebody for a website, they're paying, some thousands of dollars, it feels like X, but when somebody, pays 20, 30 bucks, whatever you're like golfing or at the grocery store, it feels better. Like
It
it
does.
actually
It's
feels
nice.
like, what is that? Like about the, it's not, I don't know what it is about it, but I do think that's a great feeling. And I want people to have that feeling. Like,
I know, and
I
I
think,
feel like I've become a little bit numb to that because I don't pay as much attention anymore, but I do remember those first days just
Mhm.
looking at my phone like,
Mhm.
I just woke up this morning and there was 10 sales overnight. I just literally made
Yeah.
money while I was sleeping, and
Mhm.
that's a crazy thing when you think about
Mhm.
it, especially for digital products. Is because there's unlimited inventory on
Yes.
it, which is pretty cool. So
Yes.
if
Yeah.
if anybody out there has some idea, or you feel like you've figured something out that the rest of the people haven't figured out yet, I would highly encourage it for sure.
Yes. Okay. Well, so that leads into my next question. What 2 to 3 things do you recommend for someone? So there's somebody out there, there are people out there who have not created any products. So, what are your thoughts, based on all of your experience, what are maybe like the top couple things that you do or don't recommend?
Okay, so I would say one, be your own customer, right? Like make something that you would find tons of value in it and be honest about that, right? Because sometimes we just want something to work so bad. We'll kind of,
Mhm.
I know this isn't right, but I just really want this to work. So I'm going to do it anyway. Be your own customer, be your most critical customer. If you make something that you are actually going to use every day, then there's going to be a lot of other people that will use it as well. So I think that's one huge one. Um, we kind of talked about thinking about your peers as potential customers for things. And I think that's something that not everybody's honed in on, but I think it's such a great opportunity to kind of kill two birds with one stone, fix something in your own business and then help others in your same situation. Especially with, there's a TikTok account for every industry that exists now, right? Like if you like to watch birds sleep,
Mhm.
there's probably a whole group of people that love to watch birds sleep. So
Right.
if you have some kind of product in mind for that, you have potential people to sell it to. So I would definitely think about those peer relationships as well. People that are in your same industry. Like I said, there's always people coming up new into the business, and everybody always likes learning a new trick, anyways, even if they've been doing it for a long time. The other thing I would say, one thing we struggled with was when we first started selling it, we were selling. So what I'm going to talk about is like your actual like logistics, how do your sales work,
Mhm.
your point of sales service and all that. Um, I think when we first did it, it was just like a plain form on our website that connected to an email system and kind of emailed everything over. That became really quickly unfeasible. We moved everything into WooCommerce, which is like a e-commerce thing for WordPress. For digital products, it ended up being overkill, and a problem, and then so we've moved the products again to another platform, and I just wish I would have thought about all that sooner, like, if you think you're gonna be selling this product for a while, it's worth it to invest in a good system to make all this happen that will do everything without having to patch stuff together. I'm a website designer and a tinkerer and all that, so I'm fine with, like,
Yeah.
patching a bunch of different things together. I can make it all work, but when you get busy with other things and this product becomes something that's working behind the scenes, off of automation, all that, you don't wanna have to be in there tinkering with that all the time. So for me, we spent a bunch of money on the Thrive Cart, which is like a
Mm,
cart
yeah.
system, um, and that was some of the best money we ever spent because it just takes care of everything for me, and I
Mhm.
don't have to, like, keep plugging wires into things and all that to keep the
Yes.
system alive. It just kind
Mhm.
of self-maintains, so I would definitely invest in something, or if you're not the technical type person, find somebody who is and
Mhm.
get some good recommendations on what's gonna be the best thing to use. Not what's the
Mhm.
cheapest or the easiest right now is what's the
Mhm.
best thing I can use, and it's gonna save you a lot of heartache. Because I know we have customers in 3 different systems now, so if I do have some kind of
Mhm.
thing I have to follow up
Mhm.
on, I have to go track that customer down through 3 different systems
Mm.
and find where they bought it, and it's a huge
Mhm.
nightmare every time I do it.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. I do think it's, you know, with the first product, I wonder, like, I kind of advocate, to kind of test it out, right? Like, put it on Gumroad or whatever, just to
Sure.
see if it's getting any traction, before you spend a ton of money on, easy digital downloads or whatever your delivery is. Because going into it, spending a ton of money and not knowing. But I do think that if you get that validation, if you can get it beforehand, great. Yes, pick the right platform,
Right.
based on everything else. But if you get that validation quickly, then yes, I would say, yeah, move quickly. That way, like you said, you don't have that sounds 3 different systems with,
Yeah.
yeah, stuff all over the place. And
I mean, I think the goal for everybody is gonna be, you're gonna spend a lot of time on the product up front, but
mhm.
the goal eventually with any digital product is that it kinda just works in the background and you don't have to
Yes,
maintain
yeah.
it all day.
Hmm.
So if you can set those
Hmm.
systems up in the beginning for that to be successful, that's a whole lot easier.
Yeah, and a machine that it like you said, like, that runs in the background that you don't have to tinker with. I think that's a good analogy that, you're doing a thing and then something is just running back there,
Right. Right.
that is just working. Yeah, so I like that. That's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much. So where tell us where people can find you. Where do you want people to go next now after this?
So awesome. If you're a web developer or work in the WordPress world, definitely come join us in the admin bar. You can go to theadminbar.com and has links for our community and all that kind of stuff on there. If you want to check out my agency, it's ogalweb.com. You can check that out there. I'm sure you'll include links and
Yes,
all
all
that,
the
but I'm
links.
happy to connect with people. If anybody has any questions or anything, I'm happy to answer any questions of any weird things I said in here. If you need clarification on that, I'm happy to do that. So, uh, just thank you so much for having me on and inviting me to do this. I'm really grateful.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's gonna be I can't wait for the people to listen. I realize saying that now sounds weird because by the time people are listening, they'll be listening. But, anyway, I'm excited. So I think it's gonna be great. But thank you so much again for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'd love to continue the conversation in your inbox. Email subscribe to hey@yfdp.show or sign up in the show notes to get bi-monthly emails about how you can create, launch, and market your first digital product. Can't wait to see you there.